Remember the 3-note voicings we did back in Module 1? Well, today we're going to upgrade from that just a little bit. Now, instead of spreading the 3-note voicing across both hands, remember we had the root in the bass, and then the 3rd and the 7th, or the 7th and the 3rd in another hand. We're going to play all 3 voicings with just the left hand alone, creating what is called a shell voicing. Shell voicings are also referred to as Bud Powell voicings because he and many other bebop era pianists made use of it. Similar to the 3-note voicing, it only includes the root and guide tones, the 3rd and the 7th, but played all with one hand. This goes for any type of chord. If it is a 6th chord, we include tonic, 3rd, and 6th. And this leaves your right hand free to add extensions, improvise, or just play the melody, which we are going to do in this lesson with C Jam Blues. Now, there's different ways to play shell voicings. You can keep each note within one octave, which is called closed position. This is an example with C7. You can include the 3rd an octave above the root, leaving the 7th in the middle. So you take this here and you just put it right up here. Right. Which is called open position. And if your hands don't stretch very wide, this may not be very comfortable for you. So you can either stick to closed position or arpeggiate it like that. Up to you. Next is your 3/7 voicings. This voicing, as it says, only has the 3rd and the 7th of the chord, or the 3rd and the 6th if it's a 6th chord. It is best suited for when you are playing with a bass player, since they will most likely be holding down the root note. So, bass would be walking. You know, like that. Last is root 7. Leaving out the 3rd this time, the root 7 voicing includes only the root and the 7th and leaves space for you to play the 3rd in your right hand, along with whatever extensions you may want to add. So, this is the root 7 voicing. You have the root here, you have the 7th here. You could put the 3rd in your right hand, you could put the 5th in your right hand, you could put the 9th in your right hand. Then you have a nice C9 voicing, right? As easy as that. We are going to use a combination of these now on C Jam Blues. One thing to note that is incredibly important is voice leading. Voice leading is a method in which you treat each note of a chord as a separate voice, similar to a choir, and try to lead them to the notes of the upcoming chords with the least amount of intervallic movement. So, let's work out some of these voicings that we can use. Now, for the C7, I think I'm going to use a closed shell, which is this. The 1st, 3rd, and 7th are all within one octave. So we have now moving to the F7, I'm going to use voice leading to help me move. And I think an open voicing would sound good coming from this C. Right? So this is the open voicing. And you realize the 3rd and the 7th, it just moved down a semitone. It didn't go like this. It just moved down a semitone. So let's play what we have so far. Yeah, I just went back to the closed shell, going back to the C. And for the G7, I think I'm going to use an open one. For that too. So we have So let me play everything very quickly so you can hear what it sounds like. And there's a G7 in brackets at the end. You could play it if you want to. You know, it gives you a little bit of flavor because you have a C7 going on for 4 bars, you know, just to make things move a bit more. Music is about movement. Remember that too. Congratulations! You have now played C Jam Blues using shell voicings. You're one step closer to becoming a great jazz pianist. And one thing I want you to do is practice these voicings. You could play these voicings whether you're solo, whether you're playing with a band, whether you're just with a bass player or whatever. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. You could make use of these voicings. I use them a lot. Especially solo. You know, you're playing a standard. You don't need to have a bunch of huge voicings. You could just play that. I do this so much. You know, small voicings because it gives your right hand freedom to add more things. If you have all of this going on, what are you gonna do with your right hand? Like, you know. So the simple you keep things is the more you can manipulate them. In the next lesson, we are going to look at tritone substitution using C Jam Blues. Until then, take it easy and keep playing.